Yo. How you doing in the building? We are back again today with another episode of a podcast that's continually going on. I don't understand why, but we have guests in the building. We have our co-host in the building. I want to get them on the screen right now. And I'm super excited for y'all to meet a new guest and also the guy in the building, the guy who's hardest working man in Celtics community right now, Jags to Riches. My guy, how you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling fantastic, Bobby, especially with a compliment from like that coming from you. But
Appreciate that.
Bobby, on these days it's not about me. Why don't
Oh,
you do the honors though and introduce everyone to our
I'll do
guests?
I'll do the honors. Hopefully everyone's doing good tonight. Celtics game later tonight, but it is a special night. It's a special night because we have a guest joining us on the panel today to talk some Celtics, talk some Sixers, and talk about the foolishness going on in the NBA. We have Bree Marie joining us down below, right below us. Bree Marie working with iHeartRadio. What? NBC Sports Boston? What? Dirty Water Me? What is going on, Bree? How are you doing today? Thank you for joining
Yeah,
us.
yeah, of course. I'm doing good. Yeah, like you said, I've made my way around some of the networks in the area. My most, passionate one was NBC Sports. Obviously, pandemic's taken away a lot of things from us, but I was very fortunate to be able to work there for as long as I did. Fingers crossed they get our jobs back. But yeah, it's been awesome.
Now, I've asked this a little bit before, but I would love to know your story about how you fell in love with the Celtics. Who's your favorite Celtics player? Just to get a little bit about you and your Celtics media type.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been following them for like as long as I can remember. Got really into them in high school. Maybe I might admit, maybe I hopped on that bandwagon when we won the championship. That was the best big three in the league. If you didn't fall in love with them or loved them then, I don't think you ever would love them. You had
Special.
Paul, yeah, you know what I mean? Paul Pierce, KG, Ray Allen, all those guys. That's what really made me fall in love with them. And then now, fast forward to now, I'm obsessed with Rob Williams. He's probably my favorite Celtic right now. You got to give props to him. I feel like centers don't really get a lot of props. So he's the one guy that like I will literally be rooting for day one since he's got here. Loved him. And, he had made that fashionable entrance because, he got that Time Lord nickname. But he was worth the wait. So, yeah, I've been doing that. Out of college, I did iHeart. And then I was like, you know what? TV was more what I wanted to do. So then I, through connections that I knew, this is pretty funny. I went up to Kyle Draper and I saw him out in Boston and I said, hey, like, can I get your business card? And he was like, you know who I am? I'm like, absolutely. I want your job. So that actually led me to getting that NBC Sports Boston job. So it's all about who you know, what you know, and, using your talent to stay in the door. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. We're going to put your talent to the test today.
Oh, God.
First, we would love to hear, Jags, what happened last time we had our podcast show. Also, we did a little Super Bowl Sunday Hawks Celtics stream. Break down what happened last time we were live.
So yeah, guys, just quickly breaking down both. Now, episode 12 of Trust the Podcast actually was the 4th of February. Now that was coming up on trade deadline, so it was just Bobby and I basically speaking about a bunch of the rumors, Dennis Schroeder, being the headline. But that was also right around the time Jaylen Brown, those reports about him potentially wanting out, and that's all that anyone could talk about, and that we were no exception. However, this past Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, we actually had a, if you want to call it a post-game show, just kind of, impromptu, wanting to see how it goes after the Boston Celtics got their 8th straight win against the Atlanta Hawks. So spent a good amount of time on that. We had a special guest, Carlito's Way. Carlito, thank you so much for your time. That was his first time on camera, and the man was under the weather. Fantastic job, man. Thank you so much. And other than that, we kind of got into what we'll probably be getting into today. It was how good are the Boston Celtics, their current ceiling, realistic outlook moving forward, things along that lines.
I like that. I appreciate that. Let's get started with the Celtics 8-game win streak. You talked about it. We beat the Hawks on Sunday. We beat the Nets previously, the Nuggets. We had a lot of close games. Bree, your take on the Celtics in the last 8 games. Obviously, Marcus Smart, the whole story, him coming back, being that playmaker. What's been your take in the story of this little 8-game win streak in your mind?
Well, I definitely think that's one of the definite key factors, getting Smart back on the court. They were below 500 when he, in record when he is not on the court. So he makes a significant impact when he's on the floor. Obviously, he's also the vet besides Al Horford, but he is the vet. He's basically the captain. He's been long tenure Celtic to date on the team, on the roster. You can see just how different the game is without him on the court. Honestly, this was kind of a make or break. It was a breaking point, right? Because we were below 500. We're like, what is going on? Can we trust Ime? Like, it was just all like up in the air. You could kind of see the turmoil there with Jaylen Brown not being happy, Tatum, and also what I've noticed, I don't know if you guys have caught this, but Tatum still seems to kind of be struggling with recovering from COVID. Anytime he is not on the floor, he is on the bike. So him going to that exercise bike every time he is not in the game is kind of important because you see that he's still not feeling 100% on the floor. So that could also be a lingering thing that we see.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
I always thought he was just trying to stay warm, keep the legs warm. But that also be a good point. I know him and maybe Jaylen Brown talked about COVID hurting.
Yeah. I don't think he ever did that last year. Like, I don't think he did that prior to having his bouts with COVID. So
we literally have a bike watch going now.
Yeah, bike watch, exactly. I have 2 squatch and then I have bike watch. Those are the 2 things on my radar for Tatum.
I like that. Jags, your most impressive game of this streak. I don't know if we asked this question last time. Most impressive game you've seen so far or since we were last live, which 3 games have passed, Nets, Nuggets, and then the Hawks on Super Bowl Sunday.
Man, good question, Bobby.
Appreciate
that. So 8 games, you hear a lot about the competition, what we played. The facts are, you play who's in front of you, and we've beaten the Miami Heat. They didn't have their boys. We get it. We beat Charlotte. That was an impressive win. We beat the Nets. They didn't have their boys. We get it. But then we also beat the Denver Nuggets. We beat the Atlanta Hawks, who we have problems with. It's hard for me to really pinpoint one specifically, to be honest with you. I may want to go with either that Hornets one or maybe that Denver one. But just because I'd say Denver, traditionally, they collapse a little bit in the fourth quarter. But it's hard to pinpoint one. I'm impressed top to bottom across the board with this 8-game run. Just to elaborate what Bree said, Marcus Smart by himself, Bobby, 10 out of the last 11 games we've won since he's returned.
Do you believe that's because of Marcus Smart, or is that because of coincidence?
It's hard to say coincidence. But it's not just because of Marcus Smart, but he is without question a big influence on that 8 games. Yes. Or 10, excuse me.
Let me break that really quick. I love the last 3 games, right? The Nets game, I don't care about that. We played literally an AAU team that had like their benches of an AAU team. It was just terrible. The Nuggets team, it's hard to call them injured because they haven't had Murray literally for a year and a half. Porter got hurt like the second week of the season. Their team is who they are, and they're just hurt. But Jokic is still phenomenal. And then we held Jokic 9 turnovers in a game. Jokic is phenomenal, and we held him down, at least in check. The Hawks win is definitely the most impressive one because Trae Young looked like he was dropping 45 in the game easily. He dropped, 18 in the first quarter? He had like 20-something at half, and next thing you know, he just couldn't do anything else, missing a lot of shots. I'm always impressed with the team as a whole, being playmakers, passing the ball around. And again, I've been on Marcus Smart's tail all year, probably the last 8 years, honestly. Marcus Smart cannot pass the damn basketball. But this season, he has been better. This season, he doesn't make as many bonehead plays, but yet he still makes boneheaded plays. You even saw one last game against the Hawks. It's 2-on-1, and we were the 1, and he's taking a contested layup at the rim. It makes no sense with Marcus, but I'll give it to him. You find a way to win, and you beat the teams that are in front of you, like you said. Now, tonight, we have a real team, a team that's actually dominant, a team that Jags believes that we can destroy easily and that we can compete with. It's funny how you say that. But I want to talk about a key contributor that we did bring in. We pushed Dennis out the door, and then we add in Derek White. Bree, your thoughts on Derek White as a player? Did you even know who he was before coming to Boston?
To be honest, I had no idea who this guy was. Zero idea. I kept calling him Colby White.
Honesty.
Colby White. I had no idea who this guy was. Okay. So I'm like, we got who for what? And then at first I was like, did we give up way too much for this guy? Because we got rid of 3 guys and a pick. So I'm like, Brad, I trust his basketball IQ. I feel like this was the role he was born to play, the GM of this team. Not that he was a bad coach. I thought he was a great coach, just wasn't respected in that aspect. I think he really came through here because who the hell is Derek White? No idea who this dude was. But he had a great debut, 15 points, 28 minutes. And it wasn't that he was just shooting the ball. He was passing the ball too. And he's clearly big on the defensive threat to go hand in hand with Marcus Smart. So I'm really, really liking that pickup. I did not see that coming at all.
It's tough because we did give up a lot. I don't know if Derek White's that much better than Josh Richardson, but he just fits. Is it bad to say better? He just fits a little bit better. Did we give up a first-round pick and Romeo Langford? I hate Romeo Langford anyway. But we gave up a lot of players and capital to get Derek White. 2 games he's played, I believe two games. He's been amazing both those games. The last game was a game that I begged Marcus Smart to have. A game where you can shoot poorly but still affect the game in different ways. Derek White was the definition of that in the last game. Also, we're bringing in Daniel Tice here today. I don't know what the whole situation was before about pending trade and physicals with Ennis Freedom. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully he does play today with Rob Williams not probably playing.
You see it. Actually, look at the chat right now, Bobby. They're saying Rob's rolled out, Grant starting. You're mad right now.
So what about Marcus Smart, though? Any update on him?
Anyone know about Marcus? You're mad right now. Appreciate that update.
Someone let me know if Marcus Smart is playing.
Because I really wanted to see I wanted to see Rob, Al, and Tice get in that rotation, get in that groove, because clearly that's what it's going to be. I also wanted to bring this up. I made a note of it. Rob and Al both starting, right? They both started in the starting rotation against the Hawks on Sunday. So that I thought that was a little interesting because there were only 2 active bigs. I don't know if you really want to call Grant Williams our third technical big, but in that second rotation, Grant was the only somewhat size in that second rotation, and they were having Rob and Al play together. And I'm kind of like, why are you doing that, Ime? Tice isn't available. And that's what I thought was going to happen tonight. If I wanted to see if that was just strictly matchup, strictly size, strictly for the Hawks, or if he was going to use that same starting 5 again tonight. So we'll never know now that Rob is listed as out.
So I will say, just real quick, Bobby, I know John Collins was out for that game, so maybe that goes into play as far as the front court rotation. But I'm with you. Tonight will be interesting because it's Joel Embiid, but they do not have Andre Drummond. Anyone know who their backup center is off the top? So you're kind of in that situation. I would have liked to seen a Rob, Daniel, and Al finally get thrown at Joel. I'd like to see how that rotation handles him, because this is the last chance we're going to see him before it's him and James Harden moving forward.
And that's going to be a scary sight, 100%. Go ahead, Brie.
Yeah, because I was looking for the regular season series. The Sixers are actually leading the Celtics 2-1. So I really wanted to, have this game be, just a level out. Like we'll just be, 2-2, and then if we see them in post game, when we see them in post game action, we'll just start from scratch. So it's tough. It's tough when we don't have a full roster. And I did want to note this. I feel like a lot of people forget this, that at the beginning of this year, I know everyone is kind of like, I don't know if everyone's like me, but I feel like I'm living in COVID land where all the years and everything just mashes into
it's
one.
All a blur. It's all a blur.
Time doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, it's like a blur. So people forget that we had at least 12, if not 13 players at one point, all listed on the COVID list. So we only had 10 to 12 games with our whole team being healthy and solid and whole. So to see, questionable people Rob being listed as now out and Smart being listed as questionable again, it's we were just had the injury report clear for 3 days in a row. And I was like,
true.
My God, it's clear. There's nobody on it. That's crazy. Yep. And now we're going back to people being back on the injured list. So people want to say, oh, you guys played a team with their big 3 out or their big 2 out or whatever. It's like, bro, that was our whole first 40 games of the season was like that. So people forget when it's the shoes on the other foot. They forget that the Celtics faced a lot of challenges. And they're lucky that they are still in playoff contention this late in the game.
Yeah, I was with you there, Bree. I was with you, but then you lost me. I still believe this. When you have superstars on your team and you're missing a couple role players, those players are still supposed to show up. If you lose, you lose. I'm fine with that. But if we lose by 35 points and Tatum's playing and he's going 5 of 18 from shooting, I don't care. If Tatum is supposed to be our star or superstar, Brown's supposed to be our star, we're supposed to at least be competitive in these games and have these guys carry. I've seen multiple games where we're sure we're missing a Grant Williams or now Horford because he's sitting, or Rob Williams, who always gets hurt. We have a lot of guys who are used to getting hurt. Marcus Smart, Rob Williams, We have Al Horford's a guy who rests a lot. We're used to having players out the rotation. Not saying he's supposed to get used to it, but damn, if you're the superstar, you have to push through. You have to battle through somewhat, somehow.
No, you're right, but that might be a little too much pressure. So, like, if you're looking back at that Denver Nuggets game, right? No Jamal Murray. Yeah, you only had the Joker. It was night and day when that man was on the court and when he was not. He sat like a straight 7 minutes. He didn't even play, and that's what Celtics capitalized on that. It's kind of like what you're saying. If you have a key player in the game, it's tough to just rely on that one player because it's a team sport. Joker had almost a triple-double at half, and they still lost the game. He scored like 40-something points, and they still lost that game. That's kind of been the narrative for James Harden, to be honest, in any of the teams he's played on. He'll have like a 40-point triple-double, and they'd be losing because you can't just rely on that one guy, that one all-star to win you games if everybody else on the team.
37 points or 36 points in a season. Oof.
Right. And you're not going anywhere. Right.
You know,
you're not getting out of the first round of playoffs if you even make playoffs, if you don't have everybody working towards the same thing.
I guess I would agree with that point. I know there's levels of players. There's levels of superstars. I talk to Jags about this all the time. There's the LeBrons, KDs, and Giannis's, and there's everybody else, the PGs, the James Hardens, the Kyrie Irvings, the Chris Pauls. Then there's everyone else. There's Jimmy Butlers, the Jason Tatums, the guys who can't do everything themselves. Jimmy Butler had one great offseason, but other than that, he's a player that needs everything to go right around him. I believe Tatum's going to fit in that range of he needs everyone around him to be perfect. I don't think we're all going to believe one day that Tatum's going to turn to Kevin Durant and he can lead a team to Game 7 of Eastern Conference Finals to play again, or I guess second round, to play against the Bucks and just carry the team on his back. That's not who Jason Tatum is. I don't know if y'all seen it. He had one game.
He's only 19. Stop putting all this pressure on this
kid. He's 19 still.
He's only 19. No, I'm
still 19, still in Pampers.
I mean,
I'll say
this is his fourth year. It's tough to
year.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't know about that
on his shoulders.
I don't know if it's tough to judge because I saw Kevin Durant in his fourth year. Wait, did he go to the? Oh, he went to the NBA Finals. That's what I saw. That's what I saw KD do in his fourth year. I saw Giannis take leaps and bounds from being who is that kid? What is his name? Oh, that's Giannis. That we know who that kid. And I think they're just levels of players. And I've always told people, Tatum's a star. I don't think I see a superstar top 5 player in the world. Jags, I mean, chime in here. I know you're the Tatum lover. You are the Tatum.
You need me to answer? You answer it for me, Bobby.
Tatum, go ahead. Tatum, go ahead. Jags, go ahead.
Because we're light skinned, right? That's what we're doing here.
Speaking of, did you hear when Tatum jumped in on that
Derek White
game with Derek White? You see that team chemistry already.
Yep.
I love it.
I see it.
They've been teasing me, the chat, for the last several episodes about Derek White, the reporter. So I got to run with it a little bit. What's the question? Is Tatum top 5?
You believe? No, okay, not now. But do you believe he could be a top 5 player in the world?
Without question. In his career? In his lifetime?
Like in a career. Yeah. Sure.
When Tatum's, within 5 years, Tatum will be a top 5 player. When he's 30, without question. It'll be, he's 24 years old, Bobby. By the time Jason Tatum is 29 years old, he will be top 5. He's borderline top 10 right now. Top 15, you could say easily. 3-time All-Star, 25 points a game while having career low shooting. I'm not going to do this with you, Bobby.
And my head's been hurting. Headaches, migraines. I didn't drink water. I didn't drink water, man. How old is Giannis? Is Giannis 50? No. Maybe he's 50. Okay.
How old was Giannis when he won his first championship? 26?
How old was Luke? He was 26 years of age, and he's still 26.
2 years older than Tatum.
How old is all these great guys in the NBA who are still
Luka hasn't won anything? Has Luka gotten out of a playoff series?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If you put Tatum in that situation, are they getting out of the first round?
Tatum went to a ECF run in his first year without Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving, with a second-year guy in Jaylen Brown, a third-year guy in Terry Rozier, a fourth-year guy in Marcus Morris, a backup in Marcus Morris. The only vet was Al Horford.
Al Horford, Marcus Morris, Aaron Baines. I can continue to go. Do you want to keep going? You say all he had was those players?
Every one of those players had not become what they would become. That was the start of their breakout, Bobby. Every single one of those guys, that was the start of their breakout. They were all in their first 3 years. That was who led that team.
Are you saying Jason Tatum, at 19 years of age, who averaged 13 points a game, was the one who realized Marcus Morris is a really good shooter? Jay Crowder's more than just a role player.
So you clearly haven't been watching your boys' videos, because if you had been, you would have seen in the 2018 playoff run, Jason Tatum actually led the team, averaging 19 points a game, Bobby.
And who was right behind him?
You had Terry Rozier at about
Who
18. You had
averaged
Jaylen Brown at about 17. You had Al Horford at about 13. Marcus Morris at about 13.
That
But
sounds like a
again,
well-rounded basketball team.
it was
That's
without question. I'm
we,
not saying that it wasn't, but you are hating on a guy that is
no one's
at his
hating.
rookie year. He without
Okay.
2 superstars led that team. Did
I-
Luka?
Lead his team is a very, they call it in high school, hyperbole is a good word. That is a very exaggerated, reference there. He did not lead his team. He was the best player on
Marcus
his
is
team
available, by the way.
a slight.
Okay.
Marcus available? Beautiful.
That's
Okay, my graphic still kind of stands here. But this whole thing is crazy. But I still want to go because this actually leads us to the next discussion. What is the Celtics ceiling? With y'all's top 5 player in the NBA and Jason Tatum, what is the Celtics season this year? I've said the Celtics could probably get to the 3rd seed, which does not make them the 3rd best team in the East, but they can get to the 3rd seed or be somewhere around the 5th or 6th seed. Bree, where do you have them finishing standing wise, or where do you see them actually going ceiling wise in the playoff?
So the rest of their season is pretty light, but you know what? When I say that though, it's you would think on paper they should be winning all these games, but if you look at their track record and their MO, they play down to bad competition. So like if they can get out of that bad habit of doing that, and if they can win the majority of these games, I agree with you, but not as high as the 3rd seed. I think they could stay in the 4 or 5 spot. And if I'm really thinking about what their postseason will look like, how far they go, if I'm being realistic, 1st round exit. That's my realistic expectation. If I want to be an optimist, they'll make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they won't win. They're still missing a piece. They're still missing pieces. So as you saw towards the trade deadline, we had 5 open roster spots, and then we signed Cornette again. I don't know what it is with the Celtics, but they love to recycle old players over and over again. But we picked back up Luke Cornette, and then we signed Sam Hauser from a 2A to a regular rostered player. So now we have 3 open spots, which I think we're going to, do something with the buyout and the offseason stuff. But I don't know who they're going to target. That's a huge question mark for me. But they need shooting.
Bree, when you said 1st round exit, I could swear I heard little Timmy in his basement typing on his phone right now. How dare she say that? I thought they were coming after you. I don't even know what was going to happen, but it was a scary thing because I've been
injury away from not making it.
Oh my Lord.
That's how I feel. I'm being realistic. I love them. I'm a diehard Celtics fan, but I'm not going to be blind to the fact that they have obstacles in their way.
Right.
Bulls are hot. Bucks are hot. We have all these teams surging right now along with us. Yes, we have the longest active win streak right now, but what if we hit more turmoil? What happens after the All-Star break? What if Jaylen Brown is super pissed because he didn't get put as a replacement for James Harden and he's just like, forget it. I don't want to play. I'm done, and be a crybaby. I mean, I don't think that's what he'll do, but you see people do that for less,
I love this guest right now. I already love the guest already. Jags, please go ahead. There's not much you can say, but she just broke it down like the Bible. Jags, go ahead.
No, Bree, you're pretty much, Bobby has this tendency of trying to agree and say the exact same point I'm saying, but just try to twist his words to confuse everyone. So basically what I've been saying this whole time is I think the East is a little bit more wide open this year compared to past years. I wouldn't be surprised if one of several different teams actually went on an ECF run. And that's kind of where the Celtics are for me. We're in a spot, depending on matchups, where they could potentially go on an ECF run. They could potentially lose in the 1st round. Like you said, is it the Sixers we're playing? Is it the Cavs?
Right.
I mean, that is all about seeding right now. And it's so, I mean, if we look at the seedings, you're talking about what, 1 game separates us in the 5th seed, 1 game separates the 5th and the 4th, and etc. So it's just, who knows with these last 20 games? They're critical, they're crucial, and we are hot. So I'll know more once we get to it. It's really hard to say. Like, they potentially could go on a run, but then again, I think you hit it. And me and Bobby, he'll tell you, we always talk about it. It's what comes next, because for me, this team is 1 or 2 right moves away from being right there. And I think it happens when Al's 27 million comes off. What are they able to then do with that? That's a near max. And Bobby, we can get into that whenever you're ready. But that's pretty much where I'm at.
Yeah. And also, like we've also discussed about, the COVID and pandemic and everything like that, think about Kyrie Irving. I mean, I hate him, but think if he could have actually been able to not be half a man, half a
full
season. You know
time.
what I'm saying? If they actually could get into a rhythm and be that big three over there, could be a whole different ball game. So you
That's
never
exactly
know.
what I said last stream.
You know what I'm saying? You never know what's going to happen from week to week.
Injuries.
Exactly. You don't know when, Ben Simmons is going to be active. You don't know when James Harden's going to be active. There's just a lot of unknown. That's why I'm trying to be, reserved in my comments about that, because
you have to be this year.
We're missing a piece, and you know that we are. Like, it's not that we need a big three or we need anything. It's the fact that the guys that we have are great, but they're not consistent. They have not been consistent this whole year. Do I trust them in a playoff run? Things have to change and pieces need to be added. And I'm not sure they're going to make that adjustment or that addition before next year.
Bobby, so I want to say, because it seems like a good point to maybe transition to what is next. What do they do next? What is that next step? One player, multiple?
100%. We can go to that transition. I want to shout out Donald Brown real quick because he had a great comment. Look at this. Bree knows hoops. And he had another one. Bree take Bobby's seat low key. All right. So beautiful. People are already
Brown.
Off my
He was
corner.
on fire last stream too. Shout out to you, Donald.
Now let's transition over. He had a good question.
Almost 80 people in here. Thank you, guys.
I appreciate that. Everyone hit the like button for me. Also, I would love for people to sit down and think about this. Imagine, close your eyes. If you are Brad Stevens this offseason, what would be your goal? What would you do here? We have a decent amount of money. Jax talked about Al Horford, getting him off the Bucks. What would we do with maybe getting a third star? Bradley Beal is a name that's been thrown around, or do the other route of just getting a lot of really good players for that same money. Go out and get a couple $10 million guys, a couple or two $15 million guys. What would be your objective? Bree, I ask you this. Or is your goal getting a third star to pair with Jaylen Brown, JT? And what kind of player would that be? Or just go out and get a lot of good role players to fit the team as a whole?
So I feel like when we had Danny Ainge in office, he was so big on picks and on rookies, and he really didn't want to go after like big names on other teams. And I think that Brad's maybe doing the opposite, which is good. I think that Brad is getting rid. We already saw Brad got rid of some picks, and he's getting rid of people and not just hoarding all these people to just be bench warmers, which is great. I'm not quite sure who we could target in free agency or in a buyout market. I'd have to look at like who's like contracts are expiring to really look at that. I'm kind of just living in the moment and just seeing what we're doing right now. But the thing that would be the issue with Bradley Beal is that he just seems like he's super loyal and doesn't want to leave the franchise he's at, even though he's like best friends with Tatum. So that would be a perfect fit. But people kept saying they're going to want more for Beal than just money or picks. They're probably going to want you to get rid of Jaylen. And I don't really want to break up Jaylen and Jason. I think that they can be successful, in this market, in this Celtics franchise. I don't want to get rid of them if it means picking up someone like Beal. That's just my opinion. I like what they're doing together. I don't think that there's this like team chemistry issue. Like everyone likes to push that narrative. I don't think that's the thing. And also, as you can see, Brad did it last year and Ime's doing it this year. He does separate them sometimes. So Jaylen will run with one rotation and Jason will run with another rotation. So that way they can touch the ball more and they can both try and make 30 points a night, which is what I want them to try and strive for. If they can combine 60 or more points, we should be winning those games, no problem, in my opinion.
Jags, I might have to answer here. For me, I'm always up with getting more stars. Stars win championships. I'm 100% abide by that. I like the move that they went. The Lakers did getting Russell Westbrook. Obviously, it's not working out, but that's more of a playmaker move than getting Buddy Hield and Harrison Barnes. That's not going to swing the needle, not at all. Getting superstars make or break your team. So Bradley Beal to me is not a good fit. Bradley Beal is not the fit. Beal, Brown, and Tatum is not the fit that Harden, Kyrie, and KD are. Now, obviously, that didn't work out either. But if that didn't work out, this wouldn't work out at all.
Well, it's Harden a risk.
It's a supreme playmaker. KD's a great scorer. For us, I think a player that's more of a defender, a guy like OG Anunoby. I know he's not a star because people don't know his name. OG Anunoby is a guy that you would be looking for, like a type of player like a Paul George, lesser. People keep saying Gary Trent Jr. I wouldn't call him a star. He's more of a role complementary piece that can score 40 a night. He reminds you of Terrence Ross when he was younger. I like players like that, a player that's in between that all-star, but he knows his role. Not a Marcus Smart who wants to take 15 threes a game, but a guy that understands his role. He can shoot when he wants to, but also take over games when Tatum usually has his rough nights, or Brown shies from himself and hides in the corner. A guy that can take over games. That would be my love. He's getting another star. Jags, about you.
So let me just go a little deeper than Bobby. So let's say the scenario was, and let's not fixate too much on the player. Let's say a star, Beal, Levine, any of those guys, just that caliber. This offseason or when Al's off the books, would you rather add that player or, again, not the players, the caliber, a Christian Wood and Doug McDermott? Would you rather add those two type caliber players to this team opposed to the one star? Which one moves the needle more in your opinion? Which wins the championship? Adding those perfect right $15 million, $17 million players, or adding that 135 plus max?
Stars win championships, man. I've never heard a role player helping a team. Oh, they were the reason why we won. That doesn't happen. Stars win titles.
I don't know. The last star we brought here left a bad taste in everybody's mouths. I don't know if you'd call Gordon Hayward a star. Maybe
he could have the injury.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's it. Like, we had such bad luck with that. Like, we don't know what the potential could have been with Gordon Hayward because he snapped his goddamn leg first game. And then when we grabbed Irving, I don't know what's wrong with that man, but he just completely broke our franchise.
Don't say that too loud. That's Bobby's boy.
No.
What?
Oh, no.
No,
okay,
no.
Boy.
No. Listen, if I'm being, an objectivist,
okay,
is that the word I'm looking for? Whatever.
I'll take it.
Not biased,
Yeah,
and if I'm looking at Kyrie Irving objectively, that's what I was trying to say. Yes, he has great handles.
Yeah.
He's a great player. Is he
Awesome.
a team player? Hell no. He is not a team player. Not anymore. Something happened. Something happened in his brain. It definitely was the LeBron factor.
Something
happened to that man. Something happened to that man, and good luck. Good luck.
I could talk about Kyrie Irving all day. I think the main people that have problems with Kyrie is because he left the team after saying he would stay. Right. I'm not going to go down that road because it's a messy road. I'm all for player empowerment. Go where you're going to go. Do what you got to do. We saw it in the Super Bowl on Sunday. Go where your heart desires, and hopefully you luck, like Odell and Matthew Stafford. That's just my whole thing. But I would love to say, because Jags, I don't know if you answered the question or not. Which one are you? Are you the star? Are you the core player?
It's hard. Again, it kind of depends. If it's a Karl Anthony Towns type, who am I adding? If it's Bradley Beal, no. If it's one of those type of stars, no. I'd rather add the Doug McDermott for his shooting, and then if we're losing Al, add the stretch big, to put the front court. Because imagine a Rob, Christian Wood, and Daniel Tice rotation moving forward. Again, these are just examples. Think of the player. But yeah, adding 240, plus percent 3-point shooters to this team, especially if they're making in that range, you know what I mean? But again, it depends on who the third star is. I don't think this team necessarily needs one, so I'm more in the add two of the right players right now.
I agree. I don't think they need it either, but it's also like exactly what you're saying. I think it's situational. Like, who can we realistically bring here and wants to be here? That's the key phrase. You need someone that wants to win as a Celtic.
Right.
Yeah. Find that player, then we'll talk. But like I said, I'm not trying to give up. Here's the people that are untouchable for me: Jalen, Jason, Rob, and maybe Smart. But Smart's on the borderline. He's on the borderline. I'm not giving up Rob Williams. I am not giving up Jason Tatum, and I'm not giving up Jaylen Brown. Those are the three I don't want touched.
Without question. Bobby, Marcus Smart, untouchable.
We're going to get struck by lightning. We are going to get – what is going on here? Now, I love how she said Rob Williams. We're going to talk about him a little later. But Marcus Smart, untouchable. I would pack his bags, buy an Uber, and I'd send him out myself. It didn't mean for anyone else that knew how to shoot the basketball. Anyone else that had a little bit of basketball IQ, I would trade for Marcus Smart.
So much this year, though. He's improved. I feel like he's now becoming a true point guard. I think he's passing first. I think he's not putting up shitty threes anymore. I think he's looking a lot better. And also, he has actually a good 3-point percentage.
He might be shooting.
I'm pretty sure he's
31%, 30.9. Bobby, you don't got to look. I got it.
Yeah, but it's like when you look at him, I don't think, oh my God, don't shoot it anymore. I think, okay, if it's an open look, take it.
Listen, she
is the game for the Celtics anyways. They live and die by the three, and you know that.
And on this recent run, she is right. He has decreased the amount of his overall attempts. Like, for example, on the season, he's averaging 12, 4, and like 5.5. But during this run, he's averaging closer to 15, 5, and 5.
Yeah, so
how
his
many
assists
3-point?
have gone up. He actually just
I got you,
recently
Robbie.
he had 11 assists, and that's his career high. And he's had that 3 times so far in his career. And if he can keep trying to strive to get that category in double figures, I'm good with that. I need him to be an assister. I want him to pass, not shoot.
So you feel comfortable saying this, and I just want to put you on the hot seat here.
Okay.
That if Marcus Smart is the Boston Celtics point guard, he can lead us to a championship.
Yeah. Because he's not only that on his defensive end, like you'll never forget when he drew those offensive fouls back to back against James Harden. You will never forget that. He can do that to any guy in the league, and he's not afraid to go up against the superstars on other teams. He'll sacrifice his body. He will bleed on the floor and get up and steal the ball and do whatever. I have no question in his ability. I have no question in his loyalty and his effort on the court. He's gotten a lot better, and I'll stand by that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please type. We almost 90 people in the building for some reason. People, type 1 if you agree with Bree here. Type number 1 if you just agree. Just type it. I would love to see if Marcus Smart could be a championship point guard. Type the number 1. I almost said letter 1. The number 1. Go ahead and type.
Carlito in the building.
Shout out to Carlito.
You just got to think about his tenure here, his loyalty here. Is he a superstar? No. But is he an all-defensive team? Probably. I think he's great on the defensive end. And if you tell him, hey, this is what your new role is going to be, you need to pass first, you need to be a point guard, and be lax on your shot selection, I think he can rise up to that occasion, and I've seen him do it. I've been seeing him do it recently since he returned back from being out again. Because you saw the absence, you did, and you see how the team is doing now.
They're a completely different team since he's been back.
Absolutely,
You're right.
Absolutely.
Very interesting. Again, a whole lot of ones. That's all I see on my screen.
Bree is queen. They're loving you, Bree.
Woo!
Excuse me. Hi, guys. A whole lot of ones. Now, what I want to do, as we have 93 people in the building, let's see if we can get 60 likes in the building. Now, I would love to play a little game. Hopefully, you guys have time for a game. We still have other things to talk about. Jaylen Brown, Jared Tatum, Jared Allen. Also have some of the preview for the game tonight, Celtics Sixers. Yeah. But I want to play a game. Now, I love games. I can enjoy them, but I also love proving people wrong. That's even my most favorite thing in the world to do. Now, last time we were here, I think it was the last podcast we done, and Bree actually just brought him up as well. Robert Williams. I made a comparison, and people were ready to take me to the torch. They were ready to just crucify me and tell me, Bobby, you should never talk basketball ever again. I said, you know what? This is crazy. I want to do some more research, do my evidence. So we have here today a blind reveal. Now, Jags, Bree, I would love for y'all to team together. I don't know why y'all are. Okay, there we go. Good. Well, I don't know why. I would love people to understand this and see if y'all can guess the players down below. Bree, could you guess who number person on the the left is? Just by taking a guess.
Right, the guy on the right looks like Al Horford.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at their cutouts. The guy on the left, let's see, first team. Third team, Marcus Smart, right?
No, he's not an all-star. He's not.
Oh no, he's not. You're right. I'm just trying to look at his hair.
Jack, hold on, Jack. Anyone in the chat want to guess? Play on the left. You got to play on the right. Is that
to clarify, Bobby? Are these Celtics players?
Yeah,
no, they're not. The one on the right is. She got that one right.
Oh, these are anyone.
These are anyone.
So never mind.
But the person
in
on
the
left,
NBA. Oh, come on, Bobby. All right, hold on.
Okay,
first team,
obviously current player. Yes, current player. Who's the one on the left? Anyone know?
Second team.
Joel Embiid, no. Kyle Lowry, no.
Only one all-star appearance.
Would y'all say the player on the left is pretty good, right? First team All-NBA, 2-time third team All-NBA, second team two-time All Defensive first team, and all-star.
Right,
the player on the left's pretty good.
All defensive first team.
Simmons, Gobert, no.
Is it
Do we give up? Because I can't wait for this. No one guessed his name. Someone said Dwight Howard. No. Oladipo? What? No. Andre Drummond? No. Does no one else know? Jags, you give up? Bree, you give up? I'm revealing his name now. Oh God.
I was never gonna guess that.
Is he on an active roster still?
He's on DeAndre the Giant.
What was the point of that?
Now, let's break this thing down. I made a statement in a video or podcast just last week. I said Robert Williams could end up one day maybe being a version of DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre the Giant. People laughed at me. People said DeAndre Jordan never put Robert Williams in the same sentence as DeAndre Jordan.
Did they really?
Wow.
I thought we were on top of that.
Look at that comment. Go back. Look at that last podcast we did, episode 11, I believe. And I was like, wow, people really don't know about basketball. DeAndre, the giant first-team All-NBA All-Star. He led the league in rebounding twice. Wow. If Robert Williams could have half the career DeAndre Jordan had, we would have a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
I think people have been sleeping on DeAndre Jordan, but also maybe overlooking how good Robert Williams actually is. I saw tape. Robert Williams is a top 5 center in the East. Y'all, there is ludicrous. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. I don't understand.
That's what started that, right? We started it. Yeah, it was where you asked me, where would you rank him?
Not a top 5?
He's not a top 5 center in the East. No.
He started name him, Bobby. Name him. Bam. Vucevic.
People were saying he had him third behind Joel Embiid and Jared Allen. Then they have Robert Williams third. That was when one guy's list was.
I saw some of those posts on Twitter. I mean, I think that Rob Will is if you look at his last, so again, the issue with him is he's also been out a lot, whether it was, personal reasons, whether it was COVID, whether it was an injury. Like he hasn't, again, been able to show his consistency in a large scheme of a full year. So from what I've been seeing of him recently being starting and playing, he's basically been almost averaging a double-double with at least 2 blocks a game, if not more. And his lob to Rob moves are unstoppable, and they need to do that a lot more and facilitate that play a lot more until they cannot do it no longer. Like that's that's unstoppable in my opinion. Yeah. Like he's a beast, and he has the potential to be a top 5 center. Give him some time. He will
in the East or in the NBA as a whole.
In the NBA.
Ooh.
The
so
NBA.
right, well, where we were at, Bree, just to know, me and Bobby, I think we both agreed he is not top 5 in the East, but he is somewhere between 5 and 10 with the potential. And that's where we made the DeAndre Jordan comparison, saying that we thought he was already pretty much there on a, as far as a pick and roll lob threat, or at the bare minimum could potentially, reach that.
Yeah, could get that. Okay, there we go.
I mean, I do see some weaknesses in him where, he'll jump, he'll get,
but he has improved. He's improved on
fouls
that.
Drawn from him, getting, in foul trouble a little too early. Like the last game, a couple of games ago, he had 4 fouls in the second quarter. And I was like, okay, well, you need to calm down. So he needs to just, it's a learning experience. He's new, like
I've said, if he can develop a shot or some sort of scoring away from the basket, he would be on a whole different level. Because like you said, he's a 10 and 10 guy already. He's on an 11 and 11 with 3 blocks, 2.5 assists during this recent run. So I mean, and just like the passing, it's so much the defensive end. So if he could get any type of, and I'm not even talking about a 3-pointer, just something away from the basket,
a little mid range.
Yeah. Someone
in the chat, actually, I forget I can put comments up on the screen all the time. Let's see if I can find a comment really quick. All right, I got to scroll too much. Never mind. But someone said Clint Capella's a better comparison. Robert Williams will never average 14 rebounds a game. I'm sorry. That's just facts. Truthful statement. He will never get 14 boards a game like Capella. Capella, as we saw on Sunday, I don't know if y'all saw this. Capella was eating that boy's lunch for most of that game. Can we all agree, especially in the first half? Eating his lunch. Robert Williams, I wish he could get a little stronger. He's definitely more athletic than Capella. But Capella is like 2 inches shorter, 2 inches taller. He's probably a good 20 pounds heavier. He is a grown man. Robert Williams, my whole thing is this. Could it be DeAndre Jordan? Hopefully. 60, 70% of DeAndre. Defensively, I would love to see which one's a better defense, especially obviously DeAndre and the Clippers. Rob now, who's a better defender. But I think Bree said this earlier, could he make an all-defensive team this year? Maybe. I think all-defensive second team's up there. Could Smart make it? Probably all the NBA second team. I believe he can get there. I think building those accolades up, getting your name more renowned. People were saying Rob should have a chance making the All-Star team. I don't know if people are watching different players than I see.
Far-fetched. But definitely the all-defensive for sure.
I would love to see that. I have to keep scrolling to find some comments. There we go. Finally at the boredom. Well, now we have a couple more topics because I know we're at the 45-minute mark and the game starts in about a little under an hour. I have a very, very cool graphic to see. As y'all knew, now the NBA replaced James Harden in the All-Star game because he's not playing for Lord knows why. They replaced him with Jarrett Allen. Most people probably don't know who that is. Jarrett Allen got traded last year from the Brooklyn Nets over to the Cavaliers. Obviously, that trade works wonders for Cleveland. They now have 2 All-Stars, but I want to compare statistics, want to get Jags and Bree's opinion, also people in the chat's opinion. We have over triple digits now. I appreciate that. Now, here we go. I have some cool stats up on the screen. We call it The breakdown. We have points per game, rebounds per game, assists. And again, I'm not going to make it skewed toward Jaylen Brown. We have blocks and field goal percentage, and I don't know why it's all off-kiltered. However, Bree, looking at these numbers, I get it. Cleveland has won a little more games. The game's in Cleveland. But could you explain to me why they would pick Jared Allen over Jaylen Brown? Is this biased? What's going on here?
Maybe because he's averaging a double-double in this graphic. That could literally be the only thing that I see, because I think that it should have been Jaylen Brown. Maybe they wanted another center instead of a forward. You know what I'm saying? It might have been a size thing. It might have been something along those lines, because if you're looking at those numbers, it is skewed towards Jaylen Brown, and that wasn't doctored. That's what it is. Like, that's what the stats are. Numbers don't lie. So the only thing that stands out to me when I look at that, because I did actually write it down on my own notepad before I saw your graphic, it was the fact that he's a center, and it is the fact that maybe he's having a double-double and Jaylen is not. That's the only thing that he beats out Jaylen for, is size and the averaging a double-double over.
Remember, he's also, he's a really good defender. He's probably a top 5 defender in the NBA too.
On our All-Star draft video, we made that exact point, Bobby, about the lack of centers from the East.
Yeah, so that's probably the only reason why. I mean, I would give Jaylen Brown an honorable mention at that point and be like, oh, if we could have taken him, let's take him. But we want a center instead. That's what I would say if I was the person in charge of doing the NBA All-Star picks.
I believe it's Adam Silver who gets to actually handpick. No one else picks. It's just him who picks the replacements. I believe Zach LaVine is going through a little injury. He is saying he's going to play. Odds are he probably won't play. There's no reason to stress yourself like that. Jaylen Brown, I don't expect anyone to take Zach LaVine's spot other than Jaylen Brown.
Correct.
Hopefully he gets that position. Yeah. I know JB was asking about it. I think it was on Twitter about Jason Tatum's going to carry the load for both of us in the All-Star game.
Yeah, he did say that.
So very weird. Grant Williams on Twitter tried to vouch for him. Yo, if JB doesn't get this spot, which was Harden's spot, there's a problem going on. Obviously, he gets the spot. Hopefully he gets the Zach LaVine spot.
Yeah, because when they announced Jared Allen, I was confused about that too, because I thought that, everyone could see that Jaylen Brown was a shoo-in for an All-Star spot. So it definitely must just be the size factor. Like,
100%.
There's no real other explanation for that.
Bobby's spot on. When LaVine gets listed as out, I have him in fantasy. He hasn't played in the last week. He's not going to play in the All-Star. That'd be pointless. It will without question be Jaylen Brown. You're spot on, Bobby.
And I think that him being able to participate in that and play in that will definitely give him a boost, which would be
that
great.
Affects our money too, right? What does that do for us as far as because he gets an incentive, right?
Yeah, I think they get an incentive, which would be great too.
I know he's not in a contract yet. I believe if you keep racking those All-Star games up, all NBAs up, you do really get that super max where Tatum is already going to hit it again. So that is interesting. Again, y'all continue to ask some questions. We're going to ask a lot of questions to Bree and Jax as the show ends, but we want to talk about the game that happens obviously in less than 45 minutes. Celtics and the 76ers. Now, an exciting game. Now, obviously, no James Harden, which is tough. Robert Williams, I think, has been listed out, but I made this graphic before he was listed out, so who cares? Now, here we are. Potential starting lineups. I want to go through and break down who wins each matchup. I would love to have y'all discuss this. Bree, I guess we'll start with you first. Who wins this matchup? Marcus Smart versus Tyrese Maxey. Good player, second-year guy.
Obviously Smart.
Oh.
Smart wins that. He has the experience. I think he'll get inside your head and stay there. He's kind of like a Pat Bev in that sense, where he will just attack his opponent and just live rent-free in their head all day. So I don't see Maxey getting any size over Marcus Smart on that.
Jazz, what you?
Maxey's a 17-5-5 guy in his second year, and I think Smart locks his ass up.
Wow, locks his ass up. Since everyone's going Smart, I'm going to go Maxey. Shout out to Maxey. Shout out to homeboy. Next up, we have Jaylen Brown and Mr. Can't Hit a Shot, Danny Green. I think this is pretty easy. I'm going to go Jaylen Brown.
Brown over Green.
So, Bree, who are you going with this matchup? Who wins this?
Yeah, that's hands down. No brainer. No question, no brainer.
Next up, we have a exciting one. This is going to be the X factor of the night. Jason Tatum versus Matisse Thybulle. Shout out to homeboy again. We should have had him in the draft, but of course, we always mess up. Now, Bree, where are you going with this? It's a tough matchup. Matisse is probably top 10 in the league. Who you have win this matchup and why?
That is tough. I'm not sure. I guess it really all depends on Tatum's mindset. Like, if he goes into that game and he's cold, then forget about it. It's really hard to pull Tatum out of that mindset and out of that slump. So I think we'll know very quickly, seeing how he's moving and how he's doing, if he can win that matchup or not. So that's a question mark for me. I'm not going to be biased and say Tatum. I think Thibault is good competition. So it's
100%.
all just a factor of who's on their A game today and who's not.
James, what's you?
Same thing. I mean, you're talking about Thibault. That's a all defensive level. I mean, he's right up. That's a Marcus Smart, and especially the way he plays it, not traditionally in front of you. I mean, he comes from weird angles and makes blocks. He's woo wee. But again, it's kind of what she said where Jason Tatum's at. When he's in that zone, what are you gonna do? There's nothing you can do. If his shot is falling, if he's attacking. I mean, during this actual streak, the Celtics are actually second in passes per game in the entire NBA. If they're moving the ball and it's a good flow, take Thibault and his defense out of the game and let's keep running. So it depends on Tatum tonight.
Then when Tatum's feeling good, he'll block some bitches. So
yeah,
when he starts doing that, game over.
And this is a big game. I mean, this
is true.
It's a big game. So
try to get 9 straight games. We continue on. Al Horford and Tobias Harris. I don't know if this matchup will actually happen, obviously, because Rob is out. So Al
will be on Joel Embiid.
And I'm guessing Tice would take his. Oh, you're saying Grant? That's interesting.
Yeah, Grant starting.
Yeah,
Grant would start.
I
guess Tice come off the bench. Interesting.
So Grant would probably be on Tobias Harris, and then Al Horford on Embiid.
Okay, so Grant Williams versus Tobias Harris. Who do you have that win? I mean, I'll probably have Tobias, but
I'm going to say Tobias. Not that I don't love Grant Williams, I love his effort, but I think Tobias Harris will beat Grant on that. Unfortunately, Grant's just not that type of guy. I don't see it happening there.
Jack?
Yeah, same, man. Tobias is a 19-7-4 guy. He's, no, Grant's not there yet.
That's going to be a mismatch.
Last one we got, Al Horford versus Joel, probably the MVP, Embiid. I think this is a wash. I think Embiid's going to go for 35, probably pretty easily. I think Embiid's going to go off. Al Horford's great. It used to be the Al Horford stopper on Joel Embiid, but no, it just stopped happening. Joel Embiid can shoot, go down low, get free throw line. He just frustrates a viewer watching him, especially if you're on the opposing team. He's going to get back calls, and they're going to go his way. He's going to go to free throw line probably 12, 15 times. He's going to get N1s. He's going to hype up the crowd. That's who Joel Embiid is. Bree, who you got winning this?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be Embiid. Embiid is the type of guy where it's that he's probably going to get 30 minimum in the game, probably a triple-double. You have to limit everybody else on the court. If he goes off for whatever he goes off, cool. You can't contain him. It's kind of hard to do. So you just got to focus on everybody else around him and make sure that I hope that he tries to shoot a ton of threes because he sucks at 3. Yeah. And when he starts doing that, just nobody defend. Just let him go and see how it goes.
This year, he's shooting 39% from 3 as Joel Embiid. He's 7'1". He is a freak of nature. Jags, I mean, this is tough here. Where you going?
It's Embiid. I mean, that's an MVP candidate. He's averaging 30, 11, and 5. He's not quite at 39, Bob. He's at 36.2 on 3.7 attempts. But again, for a center, that's absolutely insane. 4 attempts on over 36%.
Yeah.
But there isn't anyone in the world that stops Embiid. To me, Embiid only stops himself. You got to make him work on the defensive end. Don't let him just get to chill. Right. But if anyone can at least slow him down, it is Al, even though he is aging. I'm just curious to see. I would have loved to have been able to see Rob, Al, and Tice, as I mentioned. But again, no one's stopping him.
Tice might do some work.
Derek White, Daniel Tice.
We'll see. Tice might get a spark and just try and level Embiid. That'll be.
Oh, I was waiting for her to say it.
No. I think she's right though. If Embiid is shooting and he is off, that really does help us. If he's down in the block, just
I think that Embiid is very unstoppable. It's very hard to contain him. But if you're right, slow him down. That's the key. If we can slow him down, great. Maybe double him. Maybe I know it'd be a huge mismatch and make no sense, but maybe put White or Smart on him just to get in his head. Who knows? Whatever.
They switch everything. So we
really don't at this point. With Rob out, we lack size. So we're gonna have to play the mind game instead.
I think a big key factor this game, Bree said it, doubling Embiid. Obviously, they sent out Seth Curry, their best shooter on his team. And obviously Danny Green, I will let him shoot. I'm on this being song. I'll let Danny Green shoot any day of the week. Tyrese is a really good shooter. Tobias is streaky. I think that matchup going at that is just letting Joel Embiid not hurt you down low, getting N1s, easy buckets. Those little cheap fouls where you barely stop his arm and he goes up. He's just too strong for that. Hopefully the Celtics win this matchup. Now, for me, I'm probably going to go Sixers end this win streak here. I believe the injury to Rob Williams, I didn't know that was going in. I think Rob Williams' injury actually hurts.
I think
I'm
that's
gonna
a
go
huge
Sixers
impact for sure.
100%. I go Sixers 119, Celtics 112. I have
And
a
you know what else
7-point
I
victory for
forgot
the
to
Sixers.
note?
What's up?
Paul Millsap is going to be available for them as
Ooh,
well.
look at
He
Paul.
actually came in on that trade. So not that I think he's going to be a huge factor in any way, but they could also have some points off the bench for them. So just extra shooting on their end. I agree. It does seem like it's favoring the Sixers because again, they have home court advantage. They have Embiid, and now us not having Rob, that's huge. That's a huge disadvantage. Maybe Tice can, make a name for himself in his re-debut back as a Celtic for the 5th time. Just kidding, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if they can do that, great. Maybe they have a shitty shooting night and we can capitalize on that.
Yeah,
we held them to 87 points the first time we played them, so you never know.
Al.
Yeah, and
So
Embiid was in that game. And Embiid was in that game.
What's your prediction for the
score?
What's your prediction for the game? Yeah, score. And who wins?
I really want to stay rolling on this 9-game win. I want us to get the 9-game win streak, but they're also on a 2-game win streak. This is a close one. Just because we're not going to have Rob, I'm going to say that the Sixers that top us. And I think that it's going to be close, though. I'm hoping it's a maybe like a 5-point differential. Like we lose by 5. That's my guess.
Jags, what about you, man?
So Sixers, this is their first game since trading Ben Simmons, right?
Yes.
But again,
to be honest with you, was that really a factor at that point? Dude was chilling at home, had no impact.
I mean,
as Seth Curry hurts though. Losing Seth Curry.
Yes, I'm referring more to as they don't have Seth Curry, they don't have Andre Drummond anymore, and top of the fact, but they also have something to prove now, right? They don't have Simmons no more. They want to prove they can win without him. But I don't see the streak ending, not tonight. I honestly think the Boston Celtics are going to win tonight. I think we beat Detroit tomorrow. I think we're going to be on a 10-game win streak going into All-Star break. I think it's a tough fight. I think it's going to come down right to the end. But I think the Boston Celtics win maybe around 103, 106-ish, maybe 107-ish.
It's so funny. Like, you can look at it 2 different ways, right? You can look at it as they beat Philly tonight, then they lose tomorrow because they're on a traveling back-to-back and it's the Pistons. Or you can look at it as they lose to the Sixers, and then you would think that they would lose on a traveling back-to-back to the Pistons, but then they beat the Pistons. Like, it's complete polar opposites of what can go right or wrong tonight and tomorrow.
The NBA,
right.
Awesome. We have, for some reason, I don't know why y'all could do anything else, but we have 135, I think is what I saw, people in the building. I really do appreciate everyone in the building. People, type your scores, hit the like button, see if we can get 100 likes on the stream. Ask any questions you want. Bree, I don't know if you have another 5 minutes for us.
I have till the game tips off,
Cool. Any questions y'all have for Bree or for the panel, let us know. Type them down below. Bree has been amazing. She actually does her own podcast a little bit, Boston Celtics banner. Does a lot of great work. So type your score, ask any questions. I appreciate that. So Jags also in the building. Jags is okay. Jags all right. He had a couple okay takes today. I didn't want to have to roast him again. It's the 3rd straight stream.
Yeah, Bobby's been killing me recently, guys. So I text him about 10 minutes ago, like, hey, thanks for letting off me today, Bobby. Appreciate it. So
I appreciate. Whenever there's guests, I don't want to slaughter everyone. Just
exactly.
I have to make sure I'm gentleman.
But Bobby's right.
What is going on? What is this?
Guys, show Bree some love. We're trying to get her to, start coming back more often. We want this to be a normal thing. So y'all spam up for her. Show her some love. She's been phenomenal. We've had some great guests on recently. Carlito, you still in the building? Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, guys.
There we go. We are here. Okay, now I forget I can put comments on my screen, but again, I can barely see my comments now. There's just too many.
I got you. Which one are we looking at?
Well, not the one that homie is spamming some racial stuff, not him. But again, shout out to Bree, shout out to homeboy.
Hey guys.
Big MGM ask, why did the comment go on the screen? There we go. Big MGM ask, who is your defensive player of the year right now? Shout out to Big.
It's tough. Am I gonna go? I mean, if I'm looking at Celtics, I'm gonna say Rob Williams, obviously. But if I'm going full NBA, God, it's gonna be somebody who.
there's the easy ones like Gobert, Jared Allen,
Draymond Green, all those
Matisse
guys.
Thybulle has been really, really
Thybulle.
good. Draymond obviously been hurt last couple months, but
Yeah.
he's been good. I would love to see Matisse Thybulle win it. I think Rudy's going to win it
Gobert,
again, but
Giannis.
I would love to see Matisse Thybulle win it.
Mm.
Another great one. What is this kid doing? Oh, I like this question. This is like a little betting question. Shout out to Game Center X. Grant Williams will hit 5 threes tonight. Let's do over under.
I think
Would you take over under on 5 threes on Grant?
I think under. I think that's too high.
I'll say right at 4.
I'd say 3.
I'm gonna go hot night. Yeah, probably will be 1 for 3.
Another great question. Aaron,
actually making it or shot attempts, because our attempts are like this, and then what we make is like this.
Oh, good question. He's going to be great.
How do you think Romeo will do in San Antonio? Thanks to Aaron Green, Bandits. Bree, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Pop's amazing. So Pop can really turn anybody into something better than what they are. I think Romeo was great. He just wasn't getting the reps. He wasn't getting the opportunities. So if he's going to be, someone who's getting a lot more burn somewhere else, I think he'll do great. I think he'll do well. I'm always rooting for people that, move on from our organization and do like really well. Like I loved Terry Rozier, but he just wasn't getting enough playing time, and he wasn't getting the credit and the minutes that he deserved. And so him, doing really well for the Hornets, that's what I wanted to see. And I knew that he was going to be, somebody there. So, I'm always rooting for people that move on from our organization on good terms and do well somewhere else in a different franchise.
100%. I tried to ignore most of the stream. Again, this is what happens when you crack 100 people. You get the weirdos that come out at night, have nothing else to do. Shout out to Carlita who said it. Such we have jerks in the chat, man. I've seen some rude and some messed up comments. I ain't gonna hold you. So I need another mod. If y'all want to be a mod, I think we have like 4 of them. I need another mod to build. Hit me up on Twitter. Let's see. Another good question. Night Speed 23. Do you think that Derek White will drop 20 points this game?
No. I don't think so, because technically if you're looking at everything, he's technically our third option. So like you have Jalen and Jason, and then he would probably be like our third shooter, maybe off the second rotation.
Ideally, yeah.
I wouldn't say 20. I would love that. Definitely not 20 plus. But again, you never know, because he did have 15 his debut. I guess it depends, but I would love that. If that's the type of guy we'll get from him, that'd be great. But again, I didn't know even who he was a week ago. So he could probably have 20 plus tonight and I'll have to eat my words. So
yeah, he for me, Bobby, I don't think he quite gets there, even though he is one of those guys for the Celtics that will score 20 occasionally. He'll be like, when one of our main guys are off, he will pick up some slack. He's like a 15, 5-ish. We added another 5+ assist guy and borderline all NBA defender again in Derek White. So 20 points, probably not. I see him getting around maybe 17-ish, 17, 5, and 6.
Couple more questions on the night. See if we can get to 90 likes. We are 16 away. Hit the like button. It's free. Sports 14 says, will Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combine for over 50 points? I like that.
Yes.
I would say so. Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah.
I hope so. I think for a win, they would have to. If we lose,
yes.
If they don't get it, we'd lose 100%. But they have to get that for a win.
Yeah, definitely.
Trying to see any more questions. Cornette getting 40 minutes tonight. Hell no.
We getting a 40 piece from anyone? Anyone going from 40?
Tatum almost had 40 on Sunday. I think he ended with 36, right? Or 34?
I think it was 30.
38.
36. 38?
It was 38?
I don't know. It was one of them.
It was 34, 36, or 38.
What did he have, guys? Let us know.
But yeah, if he stays hot, he got hot and stayed hot on Sunday. So,
Bobby, you said Embiid?
I think if you put your money on someone, if you're going like your little betting thing, you put your money on Embiid getting 40. I don't think anyone in the NBA can stop him. But on the Celtics, against Thybulle, I don't think Tatum's getting 40.
Oh, God, good point. Yeah, so it had to be Brown, and he's got Green on him. So we'll see. He did have 38.
Let's see. This is a good one. If Dice fouls out in the first quarter, we're going to see Cornette 100%.
He will, without question, foul out.
Sorry, I saw this tweet and I literally died laughing, and it was like
3 fouls before
Celtics,
even.
yeah, the Celtics pick up Tice or whatever, get Tice in the trade, and he already has 2 fouls.
Yep.
So, like, you know, the war on Tice
It was
is
so
still
true.
alive and well. War on Tice back in action.
Tice memes.
He just needs to breathe, and a whistle will be blown. That poor man.
He is very aggressive, but I give it to him. He's a better defender than I always thought he was. But he's very nice though.
Glad he's
a
back.
couple of more questions. Again, I don't know what this guy's saying. Warrior Messiah, is this the girl in the thumbnail? No, it's a random girl I found next door. What? Yes, obviously. Shout out to Bree for joining. She didn't have to do this. She didn't have to stay for literally an hour and 5 minutes. I really do appreciate you coming on.
We'll do this again soon for sure.
Last question we'll get. I like this. Guapo, I believe. Sam Hauser should get some reps in with the boys. He got potential. I think Sam Hauser has a chance to be, I don't know, go Doug McDermott, but a player that can actually give you a value off the bench, can hit some shots, a player you can't just leave alone in the corner. I've seen a little bit of G League. I'm not going to act like I watch full games. I watch highlights, but he looks pretty impressive in the highlights. Britt, you know a lot about Sam Hauser. What do you think about his potential?
I call him the fake Gordon Hayward just because he looks like Gordon Hayward, but like a target version. But no, I don't really know much about him. I know that he has been balling in the G League, but again, what happens in the G League might not translate in actual NBA world. So yes, does he have potential? For sure. But am I thinking he's going to get a lot of burn? No, I don't. I don't think he's going to get much minutes here. He's definitely garbage time minutes, and I hate that phrase, but you know what I mean? Like, he's probably going to be in the game if it's a blowout one way or the other. And that's where they're supposed to really shine and make a name for themselves and prove that they should be getting more minutes, and that's probably where we'll see him the most. I don't see 100%. Him getting in on the rotation very often. Other than that.
If Hauser plays tonight, we're down by 25. I'm being honest.
Right.
But Jags, your thoughts on Hauser needing a shooter? We still have 2 open roster spots, I believe. But what was going on here?
Yeah, so Hauser in 18 games in the G League, 35 minutes. He was averaging 21, 7, and 3, but he was averaging 42 or 3% on like 11 attempts. Again, she's right. G League is not the NBA. However, definitely adding him. You know, he's on. He was elevated for the rest of the year, so we got him. You know, because you're right, Bobby. This is a. Say again.
He got an extension, I believe. I thought he's got signed for next year too.
He went from a 2A to just a straight
elevated up
roster player.
Oh, he's on the team. Period. I got you.
Correct. Yeah. So we'll have him the rest of the year, at least just to kind of get familiarized. And because I do believe you're right, Bobby. In a few years, you know, that type of shooting, you know, his size. You're right. You know, he could definitely be an addition, but unfortunately not yet. If he's playing tonight, you're right. It's a blowout. Hopefully, you know, in the Celtics favor.
On the bench for insurance reasons, but is he going to play a lot? No. And I also wanted to ask your opinion on this. What do you guys feel about Peyton Pritchard?
Go ahead, Bobby. We know. Yep.
I don't know your take on him. I have people in my, Twitter pages asking me, like, why isn't Pritchard playing more? Like, I have a lot of people that are team P Rabbit, but I need to know what your thoughts are on this man.
Well, in my chat, they call him PP, Fast PP. I've heard the worst nicknames in the world.
Rabbit because he looks like Eminem, or he's like our version of Eminem.
The target version of Eminem. I like that phrase.
Target version of Eminem, P Rabbit.
I think for me, if we're playing in Portland, Oregon, Peyton Pritchard is phenomenal. He is Damian Lillard reincarnated. He is a phenomenal player. Anywhere else in the United States, he's not that good. I think people believe Pritchard is better than what he was. I get it. The summer league, he was phenomenal. He was great for 4 games. But other than that, Peyton Pritchard is not that good. He can shoot a little bit. He gets cocky sometimes with little step back threes. He's a solid defender, but he just has no bricks in his back pocket. He might weigh 155. It's rough for him playing key minutes. And also, I think it's clear. I know Udoka does not have much faith in Peyton Pritchard. He barely touched the floor. If the game is still intact, Peyton Pritchard gets spots and pieces here and there in the game. It's just weird. I don't understand the hate for him in that aspect, but he does not play anyone else, especially Pritchard a lot of games. Neesmith doesn't get playing time. It's rough.
Right. Like, do you because we got rid of Romeo and Bruno and
his freedom.
Well, yeah, I was not going to mention
Schroeder
and his freedom. Richardson. When we got rid of all of those guys, did any of them that we got rid of, you were like, oh, I wish we kept? Or were you just Richardson?
Yeah.
I'd say Richardson, but Derek White's better. Not that much better for the package, but he's better. So I couldn't be mad at that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you fine that we kept Neesmith and Pritchard, or should we have shipped them too?
Again, I would have shipped them myself. UPS, FedEx, I don't care. Pick your. I would take their bags. Oh my Lord. Aaron Neesmith couldn't shoot against me. Aaron Neesmith is terrible. We drafted him to be a shooter, and he couldn't shoot to save his life.
Where is he at? What's up?
Oh,
with
I know
him?
where he's at. He's riding the pond. That's
the
where he's at.
APB on Aaron Neesmith. Oof.
Seriously.
Aaron Neesmith is terrible. I don't get it. I don't
I
understand.
forgot we still had him, to be honest with you.
Damn, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Damn, he walks the mask on the bench very well. You can't tell
all
who
the
he
other people that we shipped.
Right.
But to be honest with you, and I know a lot of people are like, stop talking about Bruno, but I would have rather kept Bruno just for some size. I didn't think he was terrible. I would have kept him over Neesmith.
Maybe Ime doesn't play a lot of young players. And actually, we have a question. Again, I said last question last time, but I have one more question for you. But I wasn't a big fan. Bruno had an awesome dunk. In his last game, he had like a dunk over the nets. It was amazing. It was fun. But man, he seemed like you couldn't get in a playing rotation. Again, we always go back to the summer league. He played well in the summer league. He was a lot more athletic than I thought he was. He put the ball on the floor a little bit. But I don't find much in potential. I'm more what is and what isn't, not potential, what they could be in a couple of years. Jags, you more or less?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of also goes with Brad in his first. Remember, I was talking to you about him. He has been shipping out the first, whereas Danny, it was sacred to him. And I'm kind of with that now. I'm not wanting to see any more young players in now. First round picks for trades, that's one thing, but
why are
no
we
more development.
Let's just move on from that.
Yes,
100%.
I'm all set. I'm on the same page with that. We don't need to hoard the draft picks. We don't need all these young talent. We want someone that's established to make an impact right now, not 5 years from now.
Exactly right.
We are
wasting away the Jays. Like we have a short window of time with these Jays, and if we're keep looking at 5 years from now, no, we want right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, hold on. Hold on. You said short amount of time. I would love to ask this question really quick. Do you believe potentially if the Celtics go through the way we're going, that one of the Jays could leave? Is that your mindset?
Yes, I do. So I said this in one of my videos the other day. Okay, imagine you're 24 or you're 26 or whatever, and you're living in this day and age of everything is instant gratification, instant this, instant that. You have a short window of time to be successful in this industry, right? Because like you're making fun of Al Horford being 35, you're making fun of LeBron being 37. They're too old. You have this short, maybe 10 years, maybe even smaller, to be successful, to win a ring in this league. And if you feel like you're wasting 5 years of that on a team where you just maybe went to the Eastern Conference Finals one time, why wouldn't I want to ship out and go somewhere where I could win? That's the name of the game, right? That's the end goal. You want to win something. I mean, yes, loyalty is everything, but what are you going to be, Dame Lillard? What are you going to be, Bradley Beal, sitting on a team where you're not going to win? And then that's your legacy. You're just wasting away. You don't have a championship, nothing. So,
Jags, you've probably said basically the same thing she was talking about.
Yeah,
I know that they both signed contracts, but if they want out, they want out. You know,
we're in a day and age where honestly, again, I love player empowerment. Do what you got to do, but contracts honestly mean nothing anymore. It doesn't matter what you sign down the line. You can, if you're good enough,
go wherever
you can get out of the situation. I'm saying,
yeah, exactly.
James Harden requested a trade twice in a year. Yeah. Y'all doing post game? Not doing post game. The game is just a little too late at night for me. I'll do a reaction probably. Last question for Bree. Nightspeed said it like 3 times. What are your thoughts on Ime's coaching so far? People wanted this man fired a week into the season, and we're back. What are your thoughts on?
So I hated him at first. Well, okay. So I was happy about it because I know that they wanted a black coach and they wanted to respect him and they wanted a former player and he's young and he came from Coach Pop. So everything looked enticing and looked very, promising. But then when, I don't know, I kind of, it was like a love-hate situation with his coaching style. Like I felt as though he would like call people out and like kind of be like ruthless with them, but like in a like kind of toxic way. It felt like a little bit, but it wasn't productive. Like it wasn't a productive way of how he was handling the players. It seemed more like a friend than a coach at times. So I don't think he was really making that like type of impact, the correct impact on the team. And obviously when we've been below 500 or at 500 for half the season, if not more, people are, questioning his choices. I sometimes question his rotations. I sometimes question his lack of timeout calls. I question a lot of things. I feel like we're only in a real like 8-man rotation half the time and everyone else just wastes away on the bench. You can't really do that when Al Horford's 35 years old and he, has bad knees and this, that, and the other thing. So I didn't really have a lot of faith. I was optimistic going into it. now that we've kind of hit that corner, hit that turn, and now we're on an 8-game win streak, I feel better about it. But the name of this game for most of this season, up until these last 8 games, to be honest with you, has been inconsistent. Everything's been very inconsistent, too inconsistent for my liking. Obviously, I need to give him more of a chance, but I didn't see really anything wrong with Brad other than the fact that he was very quiet. He was a quiet guy, and he wasn't respected in my opinion. I don't think he got the respect.
I miss Brad. I love Brad a lot.
I love Brad. I miss him. I think his basketball IQ is genius, but I think that he's better suited as the GM because he is making the right moves. I think he's not afraid to make a move. And obviously the goal is to make the team better. So I don't think he'll be afraid to make a move to make the team better. But Ime, the jury's still out on Ime. I think, you asked for that role, right? You asked to be the head coach, and maybe you weren't really necessarily ready for that role. Like, you were great as an assistant coach to Pop, but you'll never be a Pop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's very hard standard to judge him by, because no one's going to be like Pop. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to have Doc Rivers back, that type of guy. Someone a little older, someone who will whip your ass into shape and will be respected. And I wish that Doc didn't leave because he was afraid of a rebuild, because look at the journey he's had now.
But like you said, let's trust in Brad. I mean, he was a genius as a coach, and so far, like you said, everything he's done has showed me that he knows the direction to take this team. I'm all for Brad Stevens moving forward. And Ime, like you said, got to give him a chance. I mean, first year coach, it's hard to really be too critical of him that early on. And have they turned the corner? Was everything just growing pains in the early season? That jury's still out.
But how long do you give him? Like, are you going to sit there and be like,
this is Boston, so not long.
Right. That's my only concern. That's my only concern is if we don't see some progress, or if we don't see this, staying in the right uphill climb, positive direction, if we're just going to waste away with him as our coach, or if we're going to make some moves and get somebody else. So it's a very wait and see type game. I want to be more positive about him, but at first it was not looking great.
We were down bad, but luckily we're on an 8-game win streak. Could be 9. Game starts not 12 minutes, right? 7:18, about 12 minutes from now. Again, we appreciate Bree hopping on. If everyone can type a 1 or maybe a little clap emoji, we appreciate Bree coming on. Hopefully we can have her on in a couple weeks or a couple days. Bree, whenever you want to hop on, you let us know. Yeah. We'll have a spot for you.
This is so fun.
Bree does Boston Celtics banner, I believe.
Boston
Bree, I don't
banner
know if you have any social. Oh, Boston Celtics bound. I messed up my words.
Boston banner
bound. Boston banner bound.
There you go.
Got it. If you have anything to shout out, definitely shout them out. If you want to shout anything, your social medias, where people can find you. Hopefully, we can find some content here soon. Some of our podcast shows.
Yeah, I'll definitely share. For sure. I'll definitely share on your page. Thank you for having me and welcoming me. This was so fun. If you guys want to follow on any of my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, it's all at Bree Marie D. So if you see on the bottom here, it's literally that, but just periods in between. I literally live and breathe basketball and also baseball. I know that's not really what we're talking about right now, but I talk a lot of, there you go. Thank you. I talk a lot of sports. I talk a lot of shit, but it's fun. And I'm always down for people to interact and give me their opinions. And it's all love here. It's all fun. We're all Celtics fans, basketball fans. And I would love to come back anytime.
Awesome. Jags, any final words?
The honor and pleasure was all ours, Bree. Thank you so much for your time. And to everyone, we were in the 120, 110.
We got up to 147, I believe.
Lord have mercy. Almost the 150. Thank you all so much for your time. 10 minutes till countdown. No, Bobby. Thank you. Excellent job, brother.
Awesome. Appreciate y'all. Again, our Instagram's right there. I think that's all our handles right there, actually, down below in the comment. Awesome. Y'all find her. Hopefully, we'll get her back on soon. Preview's done. Pregame's done.
Game.
Reaction video maybe after the game. We'll see how the game goes. I'm out here, y'all. Peace out. God bless. And we are.